Everyone, and thank you for listening in. Welcome back to It's Good to Catch Up. I am Jen, your regular host with my amazing colleague and friend, John.
John.
Mr. John. John, it's the end of July.
It is indeed. Welcome to July 31st.
Holy moly. July's been a fun month for me, kind of mentally and like socially. It's been fun to see things pick up. It's just fun. It's been a fun summer. How about you? How's your summer going?
It's good. It's been a bit of a blur, but it's been nice to actually have some decent weather and kind of enjoy the warmth. Pacific Northwest, most of the time it is not warm and sunny. So when it finally starts rolling in, we get really excited about it. So in fact, we're just about to start Seafair up here. So
what is that?
It's kind of like Fleet Week down in San Francisco.
Okay.
So we've got the Blue Angels that'll be flying overhead in about an hour. There's hydroplane races on the lake, lots of demonstrations and big festivals. A pirate ship comes and lands in Seattle. It's always fun. It's good. But very much like Fleet Week down in SF.
Is it the same pirate ship, the Spanish pirate ship or the Mexican pirate ship?
Pirate ship is being generous. It's kind of
well, because there was that big sailboat.
We do get every once in a while. You get one of the kind of the old restored clippers, or sailing ships that come by and visit. But for this one, kind of the Seattle Pirates, they have basically a World War II landing craft that has been decorated as a pirate ship, and they literally come up a beach, ride up the beach, disgorge the pirates. Always fun. It actually, I think the owner of it lives somewhere in about a 5-mile radius, because this time of year you can be driving around the neighborhood and suddenly you just see this gigantic lumbering landing craft kind of roll down the street as they're getting ready for it. It's quite the sight. And for a moment there, you think you're having a stroke.
That's so Fleet Week for me is always a little nostalgic. Not nostalgic. It's because they come for me. It's for my birthday every single year. The best part about having an October 7th birthday is that Fleet Week is always your birthday week.
Oh yeah. The obviously it was down there for many, many Fleet Weeks, but the one that I remember the most was when was it? Early to mid 90s. I just moved into my first studio apartment in SF.
Okay.
Up in Pack Heights, did like an open house, and we all went up to the roof because we were going to have the Blue Angels, flying around. You looked out over the bay, and it was fantastic and wonderful. The only trick was just to make sure that the door didn't close behind you. What we didn't know that day is that was the day that I think Michael Bay was filming all of the F-18 scenes for The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So they were making all of these passes of Alcatraz and all this other stuff. And then later on when the movie came out, we're like, oh my God, that was the day. So that was fun. It was a good time.
We both know I'm not like one of those like overtly patriotic people, but there is something about like watching the Blue Angels that you're just like, oh, it feels so good.
Oh yeah. Well, it was very much a family tradition with us, just because Dad was in the Navy and he was associated with the squadron for so long. And I remember seeing them down in San Diego. I remember coming up here as a little kid, seeing them then. And then obviously anytime they were on the West Coast or we were nearby, we'd go and see them. I even think we saw them on the East Coast a couple times as well. But yeah, they will fly directly over this neighborhood as part of the approach to like the Lake Washington flyby. So it'll get loud here in about an hour.
Well, it might be sooner than that. You never know.
Yeah.
I will say, as much as I love the Blue Angels, I did see something like in the news that they had done a really low flyover.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, no, don't do.
Yeah. No, well, it's yeah.
They've been low, but it's always been on the water. They were low. They never did low.
And they were. Yeah, if you watch the video, there's no doubt that they're over the beach because there's somebody filming and they're coming left to right, and the disturbance that it creates basically starts knocking over chairs and umbrellas, and there's sand flying everywhere, and that's just too low. And there's another video too of one taken far away where you can see them come over the beach, and you're just like, nope, that's too close.
I I think of children. I think like, hey, if you're doing it over a music festival, like, meh. Not meh, but like I'd still be kind of a funky move. Because kids, like that's just
Oh yeah, I
my
mean
my go
it's
thing. Yeah.
it's just anytime you see a plane that low, it doesn't matter if it's an F-18 or it's a Cessna, right? It's more than a little intimidating. So
Nice.
it'll be interesting to see what. I know that the Department of Defense has said the flybys will continue until morale improves, which is obviously
Forever.
Hegseth. Right? Yeah, I mean that's just Hegseth trying to be a son of a bitch. Um, can we say that on a podcast? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Fine.
yes, we can.
Yeah.
This is our podcast, so we
um,
get to say what we want.
but yeah, I mean, any other administration, any other Secretary of Defense, that pilot would probably not be in the Blue Angels for much longer, because they pride themselves on safety and accuracy and providing a wonderful experience, but also not scaring the living crap out of their audience, and that clearly did. So
They may have a different mandate now that they've renamed themselves.
yeah.
The Department of War. Although I think it's interesting that they wanted to change how they're being addressed. Like they
Oh,
wanted
sure.
to change their name, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So in today's episode, we've got some fact checking from the last episode.
Important to be
Jen was
accurate.
a little low energy. Thank you for listening in. And then we've got some fun topics. I did want to start with, you had given me a recommendation on 2 books, so we'll go through our catch up. You had recommended How to Rule the World. I have not listened yet, so I will before the next
Right.
one. But I did listen to Rest.
Good. Very good.
I did listen to Rest. And the irony was, I had just done, in the boot camp I'm doing for the guys,
Yeah.
we had actually talked about how leaders look at time, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Hey, how do you segment out your time? How are you auditing your time? How do you allocate your time? And we started doing this exercise, and they don't have any time. Like, they don't have any time. And I was saying, like, hey, if you're going to start a business, by the way, even if you're a single mom, you need to go through and you need to audit your time.
Yeah.
And then figure out what needs to be outsourced.
Absolutely.
You have resources, you should be outsourcing things. Like, I know I can't cut my hair, so I outsource it.
Well, you could. We don't recommend.
Technically, through COVID, I
during the
figured it
pandemic,
out.
yeah, I had razors. I was down to a nub, but yeah, probably a little different for you.
But I really loved the book. I loved his perspective on really, making sure that you prioritize rest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prioritize your rest?
Well, first,
Or
before
are
I
we at
answer
a
that
different
question,
stage because we are prioritizing our mental health in this phase of life?
well, yeah, we're at that point where we realize that that the 4-year-old in us that did not want to take naps is now like, wow, a nap sounds really nice. Before I answer the question though, so you listened to an audible version of the book. Was it Alex who was actually reading it, or was it somebody else?
I believe it was him. I thought it was him. If it wasn't him, that was a unique choice for a voiceover.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Because it was a very slow cadence, the way he talked about it.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know what? I can look it up right now. Rest audible book.
Well, while you do that, I'll answer your question. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's a part of me that probably used to prioritize my rest a lot more, especially when I was even 10, 20 years ago, just because of my work schedule. I was working with so many other people around the world in different time zones that I was going to bed earlier and I was up earlier, just because you wanted to have a little bit of overlap and have some conversation and really be able to kind of meet people where they were at during their workday. and that kind of flexed back and forth depending on whether I had a lot of people in Europe or a lot of people in Asia. Um, but I would say since then, not having a deeply global team, I still try to prioritize the amount of rest I get, but I probably don't. I'm probably not ideal on when I'm going to bed and waking up. In fact, I'd love I'd love to get back, especially during the summer months. I'd love to get back into a situation where I'm waking up earlier and taking advantage of more of the sunlight.
Mm. I start my nighttime routine at 7:45 p.m.
Okay.
because I am up at 4:30 a.m.
Just because of the dogs, or because that's just how you're wired?
It's because at 5 a.m. it is currently 85 to 90 degrees.
Oh, yep, that's fair. That's very
So
fair.
I do like a 2.5 mile walk. Sometimes I take off without said dog, and then I come back and get both dogs, and we go to the park. And there's a really cool park they can run through the sprinklers, although they
Oh,
hate
that's great.
water, but they love that water. So it's
It's a cooling effect.
yeah, yeah. And the truth is, I've been consulting for a while, and there may be an opportunity for me to join this amazing company
Right.
if everything works out. But I'm grateful to have had this like year to start to have this kind of natural
Right.
like transition to not stressing out. But I stopped watching TV as well. Like I am only watching TV on Sundays.
Well, I mean, that's that's a lot easier to do these days, right? Because everything is so asynchronous. If you're just, on a streamer, or you're, using Roku or something like that, you can just kind of wait until the end of the week and watch the three or four things you really want to watch, and then you're done.
It has been, I think down here has been such an experience. I wonder if you also had kind of that when you first moved to Washington,
Mhm.
you know, there is a slower, maybe I think Seattle's probably slower than the Bay Area,
Oh yeah, most assuredly. Yeah, I mean, um, there's always been this discussion of the Seattle freeze, where people are they're polite, but they're not very engaged.
Uh-huh.
And it was, I think it's been attributed to a lot of like the Northern Europeans and the Swedes that settled here, and whether or not that's accurate or not, I don't know, but it always keeps coming back up. Um, I've never really seen it myself, but then again, having lived so many different places around the country as I did, growing up, you don't see those social gradations unless they're super super pronounced, and for me, that it never was. But it was a bit of an adjustment, especially after choosing to live in California for as long as I did, to come up here and knowing that the weather was going to be radically different, but also knowing that you're that much farther north, and when you get into the winter time, it feels like the sun is setting at like 3:15 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and it's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly does set earlier than you'd expect, but the winter months can get a little dicey. So
Yeah. Adam Sims you're right. So, Adam Sims was the narrator for the book.
oh, okay, so it wasn't Alex himself. Okay,
No.
interesting.
No, the guy just had, you know what? I also listened to Eckhart Tolle's book right after.
Hmm.
And we all know Eckhart is such a unique cadence auditor. Sometimes I listen to his books and I'm like, oh, these are revolutionary. And then I'm like, aren't these our high thoughts? Like when we go outside and we're California sober, we're like, aren't these the thoughts that we all have when we kind of get out of our chaotic brain? But I digress. I need to correct myself as I had spoken in the
Are those
last.
your correction glasses? Because I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Thank you. I
Said
can't
it
read it.
correctly. Put the glasses
First
on.
off, I didn't know I couldn't read. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going blind. Um, my poor Dave, business partner, electrician. Um,
Mhm.
he had come over to help me like check. We did the upgrades on the house, but I'm like, I still don't know if every outlet's actually grounded because it's wonky. And he was
Correct.
like, "Oh, I just use this tool. Look at it." And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"That looks as clear as Charlie Brown's teacher sounds." Like I had to go grab
I think
glasses.
I have about 3 or 4 of those in the garage because I just kept misplacing them. So, like, I'd go back down to the hardware store, buy another one.
Oh, yeah, no, there's, like, 2 on my desk just in case I can't find the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
for the
no,
record.
I meant
Oh.
I meant the tester. But, yeah, oh, no, I have but no, yeah, glasses, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, I have 2 here, I'm wearing a 3rd, I probably have 2 more out in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, I know. I do love my sunglasses more, but this is different. My friend's daughter, who's amazing, who's in Europe with her internship. My
Mhm.
correction, she did not graduate high school. She is still in high school.
There you go.
Shout out Adia. She's amazing. And the other thing we were I mean, that nothing else needs to be corrected, but I did find a funny haha at that Arizona Tech Council that, remember I was telling
Mhm.
you about, like, I was like, I felt like a fish out of water. I wasn't sure that was my
Right,
scene.
right.
Um, I think I told you they had, like, the Scottsdale Police Department there and some other police departments talk they
Mm,
were actually they were talking about their flock cameras.
mm. Yeah,
I hadn't
talk
caught
about
on. I was just like, I mean, the universe was testing me that day. The universe said, "You wanted to move. Here are your new people. Buckle up."
yeah,
And,
yeah.
I really hope it's not my people, but did you hear what they did in Texas with flock?
I don't know about Texas, but I can tell you it's highly controversial up here right now. Like I don't think we've gotten to the point of people like actively destroying the cameras, but
Mm.
there are been some very, very serious conversations in local, town halls and city councils that are basically, if not outright deactivating the contracts, are definitely putting some serious scrutiny and shackles on them. And I think that's the right thing to do. It's actually a little bit refreshing to see kind of local civic action take off and them get some results.
I, had tuned in, I'm sure it was on TikTok. There is a case out of Texas
Hmm.
where law enforcement searched like 70,000 flock cameras across the
Hmm.
country to see if a
Right.
woman had obtained a pregnancy termination
Oh,
because
yes,
they
I think I
wanted
did
to
hear that.
prosecute her in
Yeah.
Texas. And even if it was out of state, I don't know what country I live in anymore. If that's really happening, if that is really happening, which I do believe it's happening, I am
Well, I
shooketh.
mean, Texas. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's flock cameras, right? Texas has shown every single intention of following those ridiculous laws to their ultimate conclusion, and it really doesn't surprise me. There's been no organized and massive pushback within the Texas population to say that this is unacceptable, and it's not going to go that way. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to go that way until there are very extreme cases like this one, where somebody's civil liberties are being so grossly violated, across the spectrum, regardless of what they were actually doing. Um, that I just don't think you're going to see change like that, and it's certainly not going to be. Um, it's certainly not going to be peaceful, right? I think there. Not that I'm saying there's going to be outright violence, but I think there's going to be a lot of anger and there's going to be a lot of protest at some point. But you're going to have the right people in Texas kind of wake up and decide to give a damn.
I know quite a few friends from Texas,
Yeah.
and they are some of the coolest. I'm struggling to believe that they would never behave like that. They,
Right.
they think differently, but I'm just like I I do not know my own definitions. I know that this goes back a few podcasts for us is I think what I thought were certain definitions are definitely done. Like, like even the Flock CEO had said, if you don't like this, you're unpatriotic. And I'm like, oh.
Well, he said basically,
You
if you
and
don't like it
Palantir,
and you
you
oppose
and
us, you're a
Palantir love
terrorist,
this. Yeah.
right? No, it's, but I mean, it is very Orwellian, right? It's people taking language and twisting it and trying to redefine it for their own means, and basically gambling on the fact that nobody's going to call them on their bullshit, right? It's exactly what you've seen where people say, this sudden rise in the use of the word communist. It's like, well, no, because I had news for you. Most of the current generations don't actually understand what the definition of a communist is, right? But they're banking on that. They're banking on people not having that moment of scrutiny and analysis to say, you just said a thing and I've just read a dictionary entry and those two things are not the same thing. And until they do that, right, the noise is going to overcome the actual signal.
Let's be honest though. That word hasn't meant what it was meant to do to scare since Hoover was alive.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's the last time that word had any rational political weight behind it was in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Because the two major players on the world scene were the Soviet Union and were China. The Soviet Union fell, and China became really much more of a state-run economy and not like a true capitalist or a true communist haven, right?
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, oh well, what about Cuba? Well, Cuba can't survive by itself. Like it needs help from a bunch of other people.
Like the poor Cuba. Poor Cuba.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely got the shaft.
Yeah. I would love to get your thoughts on the World Cup.
So, well, I mean, the short answer is a lot better than I expected, right?
Okay.
Given there were still some really, really bad early moments, right? Like the rejection of the African referee, the basic harassment and inconveniencing of the Iranian team. Those were kind of what I expected, more on a much broader scale, just given the current state of this administration's views on immigration. But I think saner heads probably prevailed to a certain point because they realized that the economic impact and what that was going to do. Now, that being said, everything that I fully expected to happen, like FIFA's day-to-day corruption popping up in almost every aspect of the event, was spot on. So if I had put some bets into Kelshi, I would have done very well. Yeah. But in general, just massively surprised at how well like the American fan base showed up. Like it was great to have everybody from around the world, show up. And I was in New York for part of it, and when England was there and Sweden was there, and that was fantastic. And I knew that Seattle was going to show up like gangbusters because it's a huge soccer town. And I mean, literally, if you went to go to any of the watch parties, you went to the bars, the city was just jumping. It was fantastic.
You went to the bar to watch the game?
No, unfortunately. Oh. Well, no, I did go to a bar to watch one game.
Okay.
But I didn't get a chance to go down to the party barge. So basically, they rolled up like a custom-made viewing barge into one of the Seattle piers, in a location, if you know Seattle, that basically had this sculpture park in our kind of our Embarcadero above it. And there are pictures from that barge up the hill, and there are like 20, 30,000 people there. And those are the people that didn't go 10 blocks down the way to the stadium to actually watch that game because that game was sold out. So it was fantastic. And you saw pictures like that all over, all over the States, like, the town of Lawrence, Kansas, basically adopting the Algerian team, right? It was so much better than we feared it was going to be. And, all in all, I can't fault it. I think it was a fantastic time. And it was really fun to just, sit down with folks either at home or in a bar or somewhere else and watch the games. It was really enjoyable. I just wish the U.S. had done better. And I'm glad that Spain won. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I know. My crazy distant cousins who went to, Argentina were not on their best behavior.
Yeah.
Those curious Italians that are now Argentinians are very fickle. Um, oh, I think FIFA, you fickle friend. You funny, 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 funny friend. But holy moly, did it make me go, huh? Now that they're announcing this for-profit opportunity with the
Oh,
Kushner
this yeah, yeah.
family, now the Trump Peace Prize makes sense because this wasn't done overnight. This had to have been negotiated over the last 18 months. And
Well,
the other point is that you remember Kushner also has access to the Royal Investment Fund.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they've got the money. I mean,
Well, this to me a little bit feels like the live golf thing all
yeah.
over again, right?
Oh,
Like
my poor butt's
suddenly
really cold.
somebody figured out, there was money to be had, and so now they're trying to peel away as much of it as they can. But I would, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I would say, yeah, this was planned from the moment they gave the thing over. But I'm these guys typically don't think that far ahead. My personal opinion is they saw how successful the World Cup was, and they decided we need to get we need to get even more of this. Right now, I think it's going to cause a tremendous amount of churn and chaos. And it's only like 4 or 5 days since they've announced it, and you've already got all the major players just saying, well, we're just going to boycott it. We're not going to play with this game. And so it'll be interesting to see what middle ground they eventually come to. I mean, obviously Kushner and the others are going to try and get their money somehow. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just a bank robber in bold daylight. It's just ridiculous.
Oh man, I am. I've got no dog in the fight. I've got no dog in the fight. I think you know what I'm gonna hit. I need to figure out. I think I'm having an internet connection. Um, bygones. What is going on here? Am I clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Though there's a little indicator that says actual recording is higher quality.
Oh.
And now it's just me. Where'd you go, Jen?